Andros Townsend, though, is dispossessed inside the Palace half by Henderson, who looks up. Salah, right-hand side. Liverpool have a purpose about their play in the early stages. Henderson creates the ball towards Milner, drills it in low, takes a deflection. Sakho has to adjust himself in the penalty area, and then the ball from MacArthur goes out of play for a Liverpool throw, which is taken very quickly by Milner, trying to keep the pressure on Crystal Palace, and it will be another Liverpool throw level with the penalty area in the Scottish Cup. Inverness 1, East Kilbride 0, East 5-0, Morton 1, and Dundee United lead at Montrose by a goal to nil. You're up to date. Liverpool waiting to take this throw on the right-hand side. Firmino goes back with the aid of a deflection to Matip. He's missed a number of games with a fractured collarbone, missed 6 in total. He was back on the bench at Brighton last week. Henderson, Fabinho. We'll get details of that goal from Derby in a moment, but Liverpool are on the attack with Fabinho. Looks up, spreads play, taken with a little leap on the chest by Milner on the right touchline. Firmino thought about the ball inside, then waits, gets it back from Mane. Liverpool are probing. Salah lets it run through. Fabinho is going to shoot. Gets the shot away, it's blocked. Let's snip to Derby. Robin Cowan.
Derby 1, Reading 0. All about the approach play from Harry Wilson. A 1-2 in midfield, then slipped in Dwayne Holmes, who slid in his first goal of the season. Derby 1, Reading 0.
Luton Town are leading Peterborough United by a goal to nil. They're unbeaten in their last 14. Mick Harford still is the interim manager in League One, and they are second behind Portsmouth. No goals at Anfield. Liverpool, though, still seeing a lot of the ball in these early stages. We've been playing for nearly 10 minutes as Matip will just play the ball out to his right. Shaw, a little bit on the diagonal to Henderson. Milner is forward midway through the Palace half, and Palace with those predominantly white shirts are back behind the ball. So Liverpool with every outfield player now in the Palace half away to our left. Fabinho rolls it out towards Robertson, and Robertson then will stroke it back to Van Dijk. It's almost as if they're trying to get Palace to come out a little bit, and then the ball goes in towards the penalty area, but the Palace defence, Sakho and Tompkins were alert. We'll go to Vicarage Road. Joe Shannon.
It's Watford 0, Burnley 0. 2 good early chances for the home side. Delafeu clean through on goal, should have scored. Heaton made the save, and then Sema flicking it goalwards from 6 yards. Tarkowski managing to steer it away. It's Watford 0, Burnley 0.
East Fife have equalised in the Scottish Cup 1-1 with Morton. Gillingham 0, Walsall 1, Doncaster Rovers 0, Burton Albion 1. Two ladies scores in League One. To St James's Park, key game down at the bottom. John Bennett.
Yeah, Newcastle 0, Cardiff 0. We had a bright end-to-end start. It settled into a midfield battle, though no clear-cut chances as yet, but some good touches for Oumar Niasse on his Cardiff debut. It's 0-0.
Yeovil, who are 22nd in League Two, are leading bottom of the table Notts County by a goal to nil. The goal kick to be taken here. It's still 0-0. Old Trafford now. Juliet Farrington.
Where Manchester United are on the front foot, truly in control against Brighton. 0-0. Brighton have hardly had a touch of the ball. United with a free kick from the edge of the area. That was 4 minutes in. Paul Pogba with it into the wall. He's had another effort since, curled high over the bar. Herrera heading over the bar from Ashley Young's corner.
Thank you, Jules. BBC Radio 5 Live, the World Service, are also with us here at Anfield. Liverpool with Van Dijk, 11 minutes played. Henderson now right of the centre circle, looks up as he approaches the halfway line. Keita has drifted out into space on this near side, the left. He's up against Wan-Bissaka. Wan-Bissaka, who was sent off against Liverpool when they met at Selhurst Park in August. And it'll be a Liverpool throw. The last touch came off the Palace right back. Every time they get a throw, there's a purpose to try and take it very quickly, Pat Nevin.
But every piece of movement, it is quickly done. There's a lot of teams in the league playing, it's slow passing and it's over-deliberate. Not with Liverpool. They're zipping it about, they're moving players around. They've got a problem, Palace, with the fact that Zaha is not following Milner when he goes and breaks, which means that Milner's finding himself a huge amount of space on that right-hand side and getting into really dangerous areas. He's taking a chance there, not following him.
Firmino, left corner of the penalty area, does a nice little turn, and the shot was always on the rise off his right foot from the edge of the area, and it goes out for a goal kick. So goalless at Anfield. Newcastle Cardiff. John Bennett.
Yeah, Newcastle piling on the pressure now. It's 0-0, but Ayoze Perez forced a great save from Neil Etheridge. Really good save as a corner was swung in from the left-hand side. Newcastle 0, Cardiff 0.
Not a bad turn, was it, from Firmino?
Yeah, they're getting the ball so easily into that last 20-25 yards, and they're going to get a lot of shots off today, there's no doubt about that. But I'm really impressed by the way Liverpool are playing. We were trying to talk about the system at the start of the game. There is no system in that front four. They're all over the place. It doesn't matter as long as one of them's central, be it Firmino, be it Mane, be it Salah. It doesn't seem to matter. all very adaptable, all moving, all asking different questions of that Crystal Palace central sort of back four line. They just ain't moving. They're just keeping their positions, but they will need to keep alive and alert the whole time.
And it's still 0-0, 13 minutes played. Liverpool now with Matip to Henderson, left of the centre circle in the Crystal Palace half. Chips the ball forward, brought down off the chest by Robertson, lays it off inside. Firmino, closed down by MacArthur. Just got enough off his shins to take it back into the centre circle, MacArthur. Henderson then back out to Robertson. Signed the new long-term deal during the week to 2024. Another one to follow is Alexander-Arnold today, pledged his future with a long-term deal. Certainly tying down this talented squad that they have at their disposal. Bodes well for forthcoming years as Fabinho, cut out by MacArthur for Crystal Palace, up towards Jordan Ayew. Nice turn away from Robertson. Townsend over the halfway line. Henderson is back at him. Townsend goes to ground. Referee John Moss says no foul. Townsend looks towards the assistant referee.
Yeah, he can look as long as he likes. I don't think he was strong enough there. He lost the ball. Clean there and needs to get back into position.
Keita flicks it back to Robertson. Robertson comes forward. Helped out by Keita. Left corner of the penalty area. Liverpool are attacking. Rolls it forward to Robertson in the penalty area. Tompkins will get there first. Speroni then will clear. The goalkeeper all in green. Let's go to Bournemouth, West Ham. Henry Moran.
Still goalless, but the host should be ahead. David Brooks with a fabulous chance at the back post. Callum Wilson back in the side after injury. It was his cross. Brooks waiting unattended 4-5 yards out, and he nodded wide. They should be leading Bournemouth, but it's still goalless.
Zaha forward, looking for the return ball from Jordan Ayew. I think Zaha, to be fair, was just clipped a little bit by Mane. That's a free kick to Crystal Palace. It means we can go to Southampton and Alistair Bruce-Boyd.
15 minutes played, Southampton 0, Everton 0. Jordan Pickford's just made the first meaningful save of the game. Came from a Ward-Prowse corner, flicked in the penalty area towards goal, and England's number one low down sharp to his left to palm the chance away. Southampton 0, Everton 0.
Cheers, Ali. Earlier, Wolves 4, Leicester City 3 in our first commentary. Tomorrow, we'll bring you news of Manchester City's trip to Huddersfield Town. The commentary will come from Craven Cottage. Fulham against Tottenham.
Just a moment there, a wee bit of danger there for Palace. They were trying to break the right-hand side. Bissaka had gone far too far forward. His pace getting back was stunning, absolutely stunning. You know how good a player he is. You know, he's really good on the ball as well. He's tackling, although sometimes it looks last ditch, is fantastic. But his pace there was quite staggering against Mane, who is no slouch himself.
Mansfield, who returned to winning ways on Tuesday night to go third in League Two, are behind at fifth place Colchester United. Colchester United 1, Mansfield Town 0 is the latest score in League Two. The result earlier in the derby was Lincoln City 1, Grimsby Town 0. Kick then, goal kick from Speroni. Gets plenty of distance on that. Literally the evergreen Speroni in his green goalkeeping outfit. They are looking to bring in a Brazilian keeper because they've had a few problems with that. With Guaita pulling a calf, and then Hennessy, who came off against the bench against Watford last week, also getting injured. But the Brazilian, his name's Perry, is going to come in from Sao Paulo, but for the time being it's Speroni who's in between the sticks for Palace. 0-0, BBC Radio 5 Live. We'll dip into the Championship. Stoke City and the leaders, Leeds United. Steve Wyatt.
It's goalless, it's pretty even so far. Don't know the only chance of note. Pablo Hernandez from 20 yards, just wide of Jack Butland's goal. Marcelo Bielsa booed on his way up the touchline by the Stoke fans. The Leeds support has responded in defiance. Leeds still being held 0-0 by Stoke.
I'm sure they have. Here is Fabinho for Liverpool, playing in all red. From right to left as we look at the top of the main stand, as we look over the city of Liverpool on a grey and overcast and chilly afternoon, but dry, most importantly. Keita to Van Dijk. Van Dijk out towards Robertson. Robertson goes back towards Van Dijk, and not for the first time in this half, every outfield player is in the Crystal Palace half, as Henderson now looks up along the ground, doesn't quite reach Keita. Clearance away from Wan-Bissaka, who was tucked in, and as a result of that, Townsend was almost alongside him as a makeshift right back, wasn't he? Because the back four were extremely narrow for Crystal Palace.
Yeah, but they don't mind being very, very narrow, because they know that eventually Liverpool have to go through that area to get to the goal, and they've been working that obviously, but what a huge amount of work Townsend have to do, and he's having to do it again.
Robertson He's overhit that. He made a run into the inside left channel of the penalty area. The ball was lifted into the path of the Scottish international, but he volleyed the ball over the top and it goes out for a goal kick. Queen's Park Rangers 0, Preston North End 1 in the Championship. Alex Neil's side without a win in 6, but they're ahead at Loftus Road and will stay in the Championship to the Riverside. Peter Slater.
It's 0-0 between Middlesbrough and Millwall, 5th against 5th bottom, but the visitors have started much better and had the best chance. Lee Gregory's shot saved at close range by Darren Randolph. Middlesbrough 0, Millwall 0.
Nottingham Forest against Bristol City. Pat Murphy.
It's 0-0 here. Forest have got a patched up back four due to its suspensions and injuries, and it shows. Bristol are much the better side, and Pantilimon has been very impressive in goals so far, and at the moment I think they're quite happy with the fact it's Forest 0, Bristol City 0.
Yeah, they had Fox and Derico, wasn't it, last weekend sent off, so Nottingham Forest there against Bristol City, who have won their last 4 under Lee Johnson. Talking of the last four games for Roy Hodgson as an opposing manager. Of course, he is a former Liverpool boss, but as an opposing manager when he's been in that dugout here at Anfield, in his previous 4, hasn't tasted defeat. In fact, has seen his sides not concede a goal. 3 goalless draws and a 1-0 victory for West Bromwich Albion. And he's just been having a word with James MacArthur while we had a break in play, and you can see he's going to make life very, very awkward for this Liverpool side today.
Yeah, this is exactly what we expected. That's why I was talking before the game, saying that some ways Crystal Palace are better set up to be an away side. You know, they know how to defend. They've got a really hard-working midfield that will get inside and leave no gaps in front of that back four, who ain't going to budge very often, which is a bit of a shame for Van Aanholt, who's a very good attacking left back, and for Wan-Bissaka, who's a very good attacking right back, but they're not doing that much, and they won't do that much today. They're just going to frustrate as much as possible. And you would think at the moment, to some degree, they've weathered that early storm, Palace.
Yes, they have. Partick leads Stranraer by a 1-0 in the Scottish Cup. Auchinleck Talbot beat Ayr by a 0 earlier.
I'm going to allow you away with that pronunciation of Auchinleck. Well done, that's quite good.
Was that all right, was it?
That wasn't bad.
Yeah.
No, to be honest, it's a great result. Auchinleck are from Ayrshire anyway, and they're a junior side, and their big rivals are Cumnock. And so to play against the big boys of Ayr United and beat them, that's an incredible score.
Here is Milner. I like the way, wasn't he bad there? He just slipped into it there, Pat. Here is Salah. Nice turn by Salah, still going. Salah in the penalty area. Salah, the angle is tight, pulls it back. Milner inside the penalty box, lifts over the cross, just over the head of Firmino, and it's cleared away by Townsend inside the Crystal Palace penalty area. That's where Salah is tricky. And the Crystal Palace defence just didn't want to get too close towards him. They didn't want to be making that challenge. Milner, right-hand side, sends over the cross, and it's diverted behind. Speroni won't catch the ball in play. Corner kick to Liverpool. Gillingham 0, Walsall 2. Kilmarnock lead Forfar by a 0-0, and it's Wimbledon 0, Barnsley 1 in League One. You're up to date, 5 Live in the World Service.
Yeah, well, just saying that Palace had weathered some of the storm, but this Liverpool team seemed to understand how to manage matches. They realised there was 2 or 3 minutes there, and they thought, no, I have to turn up the gas once again, and they've done it again.
Exercise.
It's going to be a corner kick for Liverpool, still 0-0. Milner to take it on that right-hand side. It's an outswinger, and the header from Mane was straight at Speroni. Rotherham United have equalised in the Championship against Brentford. Paul Warne's side have lost 5 of their last 6, but they're level. And Hibs lead Elgin City by a 0-0 in the Scottish Cup. And at Pittodrie, Aberdeen are 1-0 up against Stenhousemuir. You're up to date. We'll go to Old Trafford. Juliet Farrington.
Where Manchester United are piling on the pressure. Superb save from Brighton keeper David Button from a vicious shot from Marcus Rashford. Pogba's just gone for the overhead kick. That's gone out for a corner. The pressure is on. Brighton defending superbly so far. Manchester United 0, Brighton 0.
Tranmere Rovers 0, Swindon Town 1, a latest score in League 2. Robertson does well. Challenges Jordan Ayew. The ball's going away from him. He slides to prevent it going out from a corner kick as Crystal Palace are awarded a throw on this right-hand side. 0-0.
It's been 20 minutes since Crystal Palace have been this far up the field, and they finally got there. But they know that, and they expect that. They need to make some capital once they've got there. Get the ball to Zaha when they can. They have done.
Here is Zaha into the penalty area. Prodded the ball forward towards Jordan Ayew. Cleared away by Fabinho. Up towards Salah. Turns into trouble. Goal at the the Riverside. Peter Slater.
Well, I said it was coming. Millwall started brightly. They've taken the lead. Lee Gregory on the break, having robbed Adam Clayton. He saw Jed Wallace belting down the middle of the field, put the ball across to him. Decent finish, has to be said. Wallace's 4th of the season, and it's Middlesbrough 0, Millwall 1.
Middlesbrough, who were 5th this morning in the playoff positions, as Jordan Ayew strokes it to Wan-Bissaka. On the halfway line to Zaha. Zaha back to Wan-Bissaka. Comes under pressure. Does the Crystal Palace right back. Milivojevic now forward, chips it. Zaha looking to get round the back, gets there, crosses the ball back. Ayew with a glancing header, didn't get enough on it. It runs wide, collected by Townsend. Palace still threatening. Townsend left hand side, pulls it back. Milivojevic midway through the Liverpool half. Liverpool now try and reorganise at the back. Wan-Bissaka, good spell for Crystal Palace. There's been a goal at St James's Park, straight to John Bennett.
And listen to the noise, it's gone to Newcastle, and what a goal from an unlikely player as well. It's Fabian Schär, the centre-back, carried the ball almost from the halfway line into the penalty area. Nobody stopped him, invited to shoot, left-footed, low into the back of the net. Newcastle 1, Cardiff 0.
I think that'll be his first goal for the club, and he's been a good signing as well for £3 million from Deportivo La Coruña. Fabian Schär, the Swiss international. So Newcastle 1-0 up against Cardiff. That's the only goal in the Premier League of the games that kicked off at 3 o'clock. Crystal Palace have a throw, left-hand side. Eventually it's taken, and as the cross comes in, it's dealt with by Van Dijk. Up towards Salah. Nice back heel by Salah. Onto it is Keita. Keita now running forward, surging through the middle, and then Keita is brought down. The referee, John Moss, says that Tompkins got the ball. Liverpool win it back with Fabinho. Milivojevic then goes into the challenge, and all of a sudden the game just starts to open up a little bit.
I think Crystal Palace are playing just in periods, in quarters. In the first quarter they sat back, they held, they didn't move. You see the fullbacks weren't getting forward at all. They've made a little change. Zaha's come over to the right from the left. He's linking up a little bit more with Wan-Bissaka. It's as if, we have to manage that. We have to manage the first 22 minutes or so. Then we'll start taking the part in the game going forward. They've started now.
Well, certainly have. And we all know what they can do as well. Just go back to before Christmas at the Etihad, where in fact they actually fell behind that day to Manchester City before winning by 3-2. Now, Mane, Firmino, just outside the centre circle. Let's go to Watford. Joe Shannon.
Watford 0, Burnley 0. Two good chances for the away side. Ben Mees headed over from a corner, and then Mariappa making a great last-ditch tackle to deny Ashley Barnes. The rain fizzing down. Watford 0, Burnley 0.
Hibs lead Elgin City now 2-0 in the Scottish Cup, and Peterborough are down to 10 men as they trail by a 0-0 at Luton Town at Kenilworth Road in League One. 0-0 at Anfield. Henderson to Matip. Matip along the ground, out towards Milner. Right touchline, level with the penalty area. Back to Matip, infield. Henderson comes onto the ball, runs forward, looking for the return. Interception, though, by Milivojevic. And then it's with Jordan Ayew, who turns back with Zaha. Manages to wriggle away from Keita. Keita, though, will win the ball. No, he doesn't. Referee John Moss says foul. Free kick to Crystal Palace.
A little bit harsh, I think, there. I think Zaha, he's a great player for doing that. He gets 2 or 3 players around him, and he just waits for the first hit. Now, there were tackles going in. I think that was a clean tackle. But when he is hit, he does go down. To be fair, I don't think he dived there, but I don't think it was a foul either.
Free kick then that Tompkins will strike out towards Townsend on the left touchline. Looks up. Townsend then goes on the outside of Milner, and as he works over the cross, strikes the outstretched leg of Milner, pops up, hits Townsend in the face, and goes out of play for a goal kick. Straight to Old Trafford, penalty, Juliet Berrington.
To Manchester United, where Paul Pogba is currently speaking to referee Paul Taney with the ball under his left arm as he's awaiting to take this penalty. We've had a little bit of delay. Davy Proper received some treatment. It was Gaëtan Bong who brought down Pogba, who's about now to place the ball onto the spot against David Button, who produced an outstanding save button from Marcus Rashford a few moments ago. Paul Pogba against David Button to give Manchester United a 1-0 lead. We're still waiting. Paul Pogba taking some deep breaths. Tierney making sure everything's okay. That little, how many steps is he taking? Into the back corner. Paul Pogba makes it. Manchester United 1, Brighton
Thank you, Jules. Straight to Oxford. Goal in League One. Sahel Sahi.
Where Oxford have beaten the leaders Portsmouth Ian by a 1-0. A right-footed shot from 25 yards out from Cameron Brannigan. Oxford United 1, Portsmouth 0.
0-0 here at Anfield. Liverpool are coming forward. Aston Villa 0, Hull City 1. Jared Bowen, who's much sought after. He's a striker in form for Nigel Adkins' side. Has got the goal at Villa Park as the ball is headed away by Wan-Bissaka. St Mirren 0, Alloa 1 is the latest score in the Scottish Cup 4th round, so potential shock on the cards in Paisley. And Cambridge United 0, Northampton 1 is the latest score in League 2. Morecambe 0, Stevenage 1, and Forest Green lead Bury by a 0 also in League 2. Fabinho out to Milner, first time cross, Salah runs away from him on the edge of the area, cleared away by Wan-Bissaka. To Southampton, Alistair Bruce ball.
Southampton 0, Everton 0. Jordan Pickford's been tested again. Danny Ings with a rasping drive from 30 yards, swerving in the air. Pickford got both hands to it comfortably and palmed it away. Southampton 0, Everton 0.
Milner with a cutback, good block though coming in, a sliding block by the former Liverpool player Sacco, drilled back into the penalty area by Matip, won't quite fall to Salah. Robertson now with Henderson. Liverpool curl the ball out with Henderson to Milner, brings it down off his right thigh, infield. Firmino looking for the ball back towards Milner, charged down, and it goes out for a Liverpool corner kick, as Luton Town have got a second goal against the 10 men of Peterborough and Kenilworth Road. Inverness 3, East Kilbride 0 in the Scottish Cup, Bradford 0, Southend United 2, St Johnstone 2, Hamilton 0 also in the Scottish Cup, Crawley 0, Port Vale 1, and Dundee 0, Queen of the South 1 in the Scottish Cup. A flurry of goals going in. Corner kick to be taken, and it comes from Milner, right-hand side, and headed just wide. And it was by Matip about 8 yards out, as we'll go to Bournemouth, West Ham, Henry Moran.
Almost half an hour gone, still goalless. We have seen the ball in the net. Nathan Aké at the back post for Bournemouth, but it wasn't he that was offside. Callum Wilson adjudged to be involved in play as the keeper Fabianski came to try and claim the ball. Disappointment for Aké and the Bournemouth supporters, but it remains goalless. Really good, entertaining game this though.
This has got similar sort of like traits to the last week's first half against Brighton for Liverpool, where they're seeing a lot of the ball, but they're not really creating too many opportunities.
They're getting into brilliant positions. I say more than anyone else, Milner. Once again, he got to the right-hand side there, got to the byline, and it was defended fairly well when he put it in. I think he looks the most effective player in a red shirt today, but they keep on getting into those positions. But that amount of concentration that you will need is incredible. On the left-hand side, it's a little bit of a shame. Not a great understanding yet between Keita and Robertson. Keita getting in the way a couple of times of Robertson. Can't allow that to happen. Robertson's a big player for Liverpool going forward.
Zaha can't get past Henderson. Henderson just covers across and sees it back to Alisson. Brad Lyons has been sent off for St Mirren. So St Mirren trailing at home to Alloa in the Scottish Cup 4th round and now down to 10 men. Salah forward, diagonal ball into the penalty area, stopped by Sacco. Looking to Kouyaté, stretched that into that challenge and actually fouled Milner and gives away a free kick in a very dangerous position. We'll quickly nip to Watford. Joe Shannon.
Watford 0, Burnley 0. The visitors should be in front. Ashley Westwood in swinging cross onto the head of Ashley Barnes, 8 yards out, headed it straight at Ben Foster. It's Watford 0, Burnley 0.
Colchester United 2, Mansfield Town 0, a latest score in League 2. Right, the free kick's going to be taken for Liverpool. It's still goalless at Anfield. And we just heard from Joe there, it's still goalless at Southampton, as it is at Bournemouth. Manchester United, though, 1-0 up against Brighton. Newcastle 1, Cardiff City 0. This free kick, it'll be Salah with the in-swinger or the out-swinger from James Milner, whose left arm is aloft. Salah runs over the ball. Milner now curls it in, and the header from Van Dijk is tipped over the crossbar for a corner kick.
Brilliant ball in there by Milner. I mean, really, it's amazing. You put him anywhere on the pitch, James Milner, and he's absolutely stunning. He's been right back, but he's been all over the place, generally getting down that right wing, putting great balls in. This time, it's from the corner kick there. He's got a header on it, Van Dijk there. I didn't see any other touch. I'll be honest with you, I think Van Dijk should have done a bit better with that. I didn't think he got a very clean head on it, and it was a free header.
Said it was tipped over. I don't think the keeper tipped it over in the end, but the corner's been awarded. Milner in towards the near post. Little flick by Matip didn't quite come off. Liverpool's handball by Townsend. Oh, it's gone the other way. I'd like to see that again, Pat.
Well, if he's given it, you know, he's definitely seen a hand going up there. Didn't see any nudges going on. We've got another replay here. We've got a monitor in front of us here. He's got it right, you know.
Has he?
Yeah, both hands hit it, and Manny's hit it first.
Right, okay.
It was a very tough one to call. John, it's just a moment. There have been a few close calls, actually. The referee's got them generally right. You know, I think he's had a good game so far.
I know from our time together in Russia to bow to your superior knowledge and experience.
I mean, purely in the fact I've seen the replay. You've got other things to keep your mind on this afternoon as well, with scores coming in everywhere.
12 minutes to go to half-time, and it's still 0-0 with Crystal Palace. And remember, Roy Hodgson, and this amazing record that he's gotten as opposing manager, yet to concede, although MacArthur's come under pressure there from the press from Keita, and now they swarm around Tompkins, and then all of a sudden they're like bees around the honeypot as Henderson and Robertson also went in for the kill. But Crystal Palace have managed to get themselves out of that sticky situation, and now Zaha on the left-hand side pulls it back. Townsend, sucker punch. Crystal Palace silence the Kop, and Townsend puts Palace ahead. Liverpool 0, Crystal Palace 1.
Well, that's absolutely incredible. You're right. Liverpool tried the high press then. A lot of players went towards it, but they kept calm. They played through it there, got down to the left-hand side there. Great cross into the box. Yes, it's a sucker punch, but Roy Hodgson, that is the game plan. Absolutely summed up there. They've defended really well. They've had to kind of ride the luck once or twice there. But getting to that byline there, and it's just, James Milner couldn't get back. He's not got the pace to get close to Zaha. Easily to the byline, cuts it back, and it's quite simply a tap-in. Super goal there, super break there. The manager's absolutely delighted that the plan has worked perfectly.
Well. Townsend, who scored an absolute worldie at the Etihad, which certainly provided a twist in the title race. Not quite as good, however, it was a well-worked goal from Palace, bearing in mind they came under real pressure midway through their own half, switched it out to the left, nobody tracked the run of Townsend, arrived, drilled it in low left-footed, and all of a sudden, Crystal Palace cast in the role of party poopers once again. And 637 days ago, they were the last side to win here in the league, and they've just taken the lead.
What is quite intriguing, though, talking about the fact that Milner has been brilliant. He's been superb going forward. But when he's got 1-on-1 at the back there against Townsend, against Zaha, he hasn't got the pace to stay with him. When he's a full-back against wingers at that pace, he's not been able to do that. Again, he's getting the ball here. It's a right-wing possession again.
Milner forward, Milner still going. They're appealing for a handball there from Milner's shot away. That's waved away by referee John Moss. As Liverpool trail by 1-0. Remember, up until today, they haven't dropped points to any team outside of the Big Six. Free kick to Liverpool, which Milner is going to take. Salah waits. Milner now takes it, curls it into the penalty area, headed away by Saka. Let's go racing. The Clarence House chase. John Hunt.
Yes, just underway here. Altior coming down towards the third fence here, leading from Fox Norton and Diego de Charmille. Altior at the third, jumped it well, leading early, a circuit to go.
Thank you, John. As Robertson curls the ball in, Van Dijk jumps and his header well off target. MK Dons 0, Crewe Alexandra 1 is the latest score in League Two. Earlier, Lincoln City beat Grimsby by 1-0 at Sincil Bank. In second place, Bury, the last we heard, were behind at Forest Green. But here in the Premier League, it's Liverpool who are behind.
And the slight concern for Liverpool is, you know, Palace have gone ahead here, and you think, will they sit back and will they defend it? No, they'll just do exactly what they've been doing up until now. They will play on the break. They have got good, really pacey attackers there. Ayew's quick, we know Townsend's quick, and Zaha's quick and incredibly talented as well. They just keep on doing the game plan the way it's been going.
Here is Salah, left-hand side. That's the voice of Pat Nevin. 5 Live in the World Service from the BBC. Wan-Bissaka, good, strong, firm challenge on this near side. Liverpool take the throw quickly. Fabinho, helped out by Keita. But Crystal Palace, who work very, very hard, will clear the ball away. MacArthur and Zaha's after this one as well. Milner sees it back to Alisson. It's only the fourth goal that they've actually conceded at Anfield this season. Cardiff, Manchester United and Arsenal are the other, so they've never conceded more than one in a game in the Premier League this season, and only the fourth that Alisson's had his goal breached as Alloa leads St Mirren now 2-0 in the Scottish Cup. St Mirren, who are down to 10 men. The Crystal Palace support making some noise. Not that you can hear them, but you can certainly see them applauding in that Anfield Road end away to our left-hand side. They filled out their away allocation. Always a vibrant atmosphere when they're at Selhurst Park, and by and large they tend to do quite well here. Up until last season they'd won 3 successive times. I think the first time a team's done that at Anfield since 2005. Henderson scoops the ball inside. Fabinho. Liverpool looking for an equaliser into the penalty area off the chest of Sacco, and cleared away then by the former Liverpool defender. Rochdale 0, Fleetwood Town 1. Wimbledon have equalised at home to Barnsley, also in League One. Hull City have got a second goal at Villa Park, and Tranmere Rovers 0, Swindon Town 2 is a latest score, and that'll be a Crystal Palace goal kick.
Salah has just gone down in the box here, and he's got 4 Palace players running in towards him saying, stop throwing yourselves to the ground for nothing. They're furious with him. Koulibaly in particular. What was happening? The ball was played into Salah. He's on the ball, but he has thrown himself easily down.
Let's go back to Ascot. John Hunt.
Second last vent to pro